Hello everyone and welcome to my daily report market analysis videos with me, Rich Perry, market analyst at Hantec on Friday the 17th of April. We've got a risk positive look to markets today, although there's a strange claw back in the dollar as the European session has really sort of started to get going. But it's interesting that we've still got this positive line through equity markets. We saw yesterday a slight jump in the S&P 500, but overnight we've had some good news surrounding the prospect of a treatment drug that seems to be working for COVID-19 in a Chicago hospital. And that has helped to boost risk appetite today. And you can see that through equity markets. European equity is 3 to 4% higher. S&P 500 futures, the E-min is 2.8% higher. And broadly speaking, the risk assets are sort of are underperforming. You can see that Treasury yields have edged higher, although again off their highs, and that could be sort of playing into how the dollar has moved in the last couple of hours or so. I'll show you that dollar move. We saw an initial move to the downside, but again, dollar retracing and that and going back higher again. So, yeah, it's an interesting sort of slight mix of outlook really, and you can see through major forex. Around when I was writing the morning report this morning, we saw across the board all the dollar underperforming across the major forex, and that's turned around. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But what we have got is a very strange move also in oil prices. You've seen Brent crude 1.7% higher, but the WTI 7% down, and that's a downside break now. I was talking in the morning report when I was writing it that support was holding. Well, then as soon as the European market kicked in, that's sort of sell-off really did gather momentum and really went to the downside, so breaching that 19.2 level. But looking at Brent crude, you're nowhere near that similar downside break. So really strange moves there that we're seeing. Certainly the American oil is getting really badly hit at the moment. But as I said, risk appetite broadly positive today, certainly through equity markets anyway. So in terms of where we see data points today, we've had the another factor that's played into the risk positive move, I think, is the Chinese GDP. Now, you can see here Chinese GDP actually came pretty much in line with expectations year on year, 6.8% negative, 6.5% negative was the expectation, and quarter on quarter as well. But what we did see was much better than expected industrial production for March. Retail sales was not as good as, or certainly worse than expected. But it seems as though that markets have taken this industrial production number and the comments from China that suggest that perhaps that they are seeing signs of improvement and encouragement in the economy for the March data. So they again, markets using that positive carrot as a sort of a move higher. And we're seeing some decent runs today. Now, in terms of my chart of the day, which is the DAX, that is an interesting move actually, because we saw yesterday Wednesday and Thursday, we saw negative candles forming and the threatening of this uptrend. Well, that uptrend was used as a basis of support broadly yesterday, and it was just pinged straight higher today. Really strong move to the upside, and it's trading around the day high. So that 10,820 level of resistance is back in focus again. And I was wondering whether this was going to turn into a top pattern. If you see on the hourly chart, you can see that it did threaten this top pattern, but just pinged straight higher today on the back of that positive sentiment out of the US. And it's just now testing that 10,820 mark. So momentum indicators on the hourly have held on to their positive configuration when yesterday they were sort of threatening to break down. Held on to that 40 of RSI, held on to neutral on the MACD lines, and turning positive again. So it's sort of setting up for a test of that 820 level of resistance overhead, and an upside break would be the next bull leg higher, potentially similar to what we saw in late March into early April, where we saw consolidation, threatening to downside break, never really made the downside break into the close, and then just went north from there. So that could well be what we're seeing developing on the DAX now. So this positive sentiment really is taking hold, and equity markets feeling the benefit of it. So an upside break above 10,820, where you're looking at 50% fib then, 11,025, which as well, basis of resistance from these two highs earlier in March. But yeah, there's a really strong move that we've seen playing out through the morning today. Okay, so I wish you good luck in your trading today. Click here to subscribe to our analysis and videos, and go to our website to sign up for our webinar.